Hello, everybody, and welcome to our McMaster Engineering Scholarship Session. This 1 hour session with you all today is going to make sure that you get all your questions answered about our scholarships for the Faculty of Engineering. During my little presentation over the next coming minutes, I'm going to be walking you through the application process and giving you some tips and tricks as well for how to successfully complete your application. So thanks so much for joining us, and let's get right to it. Perfect. So before we start, we have to ground ourselves. Why are you here? Well, you're here because you're exceptional. You've shown leadership inside and outside the classroom. You have passions for making an impact on your communities, and maybe you have some big ideas on how to impact the world. So thanks for joining us today. And if we could, we would grant you all the Faculty of Engineering scholarships. So speaking of scholarships and your amazing contributions that you've already experienced in your high school world, we want this energy to continue at McMaster Engineering. We believe in something called degree plus experience. This means that as much as you're here for an amazing education, you're also here to learn outside the classroom through clubs and teams, research experiences, co-op opportunities, and of course within the classroom through project-based learning. So whatever those experiences are, our team, our faculty, our students and staff are here to support you along that journey. And just a quick note, if you have applied to one of these 4 programs or are interested in applying to any of these 4 programs, you are eligible for our Faculty of Engineering scholarships. So let's go into the scholarship piece. So what are some of the important pieces that you have to know about? Well, first, the exciting number is that we give out over $1 million in scholarships. So for each of our scholarship winners, you'll be receiving a scholarship, in addition, a research award. We'll get into the details in a second. And the best part is you're not expected to apply to multiple scholarships. You'll be applying to one application to be considered for all of our awards. So what are these awards? As you can quickly, see, you're probably overwhelmed with this list of awards. You don't need to remember these names, and you don't really have to do any thinking when it comes to these scholarships. But we really want to highlight that these are the various scholarships that are offered through the Faculty of Engineering. And the important note is that each of these scholarships has multiple award winners. Each of these scholarships has a different financial contribution. So for instance, we have the FIRST Robotics Scholarship. For that one specifically, we give out 10 scholarships with a total of $15,000. And this is in Canadian dollars. Some might be smaller than that. They could range from anywhere between $2,500 to $15,000. Something cool to note is that some of our scholarship winners actually win multiple scholarships as well. So hopefully this gives you a better idea of what each of these scholarships are. And these are the scholarships that make up this pool of $1 million. And again, you don't need to worry about the name, because if you are a successful scholarship winner, you will be notified of which scholarship you received and for how much. Perfect. So the next portion of this presentation is really important, and it's all about how to apply. So as much as we want to ensure that you're all excited about scholarships today, we also want to ensure that you're able to submit your application. So the first piece is that in order to be eligible to our scholarships, you have to have been a McMaster applicant. If that's the case for you, you can head over to mcmaster.awardspring.ca to access the scholarship. You'll be asked to do one important piece, and that's to complete an initial and common application. When you get to this stage of the cycle, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, there's 5 different sections. Those sections are important to read, but there isn't much action from your end. So my colleagues are going to post the link to the scholarship, to our scholarship website, which will walk you through what you need to do in each of those steps. That will take you a couple minutes, but you have to do this in order to then see all the scholarships you're qualified for. The ones we're talking about today are the Faculty of Engineering scholarships, but there is a chance that you are eligible for other scholarships as well. This will actually require you to complete an application, and that's again what we're focusing on today. So in a second, we're going to walk through the different steps and what actually comprises of this application. And important note to remember is that our application deadline for this year's cycle for the fall 2021 start date is February 12th, 2021. at 11:59 p.m. Eastern time. So mark that down somewhere. That's an important deadline to remember. So now into our Faculty of Engineering Scholarship. So if we were to summarize what is the most important pieces of this application, that's these 3 steps. You're going to tell us about your curriculars, you're going to answer some short answer questions, and be asked to submit 2 reference letters. But actually your referees will be submitting those. So we'll go into details. And in addition, you'll be asked to self-report your grades. So now I'm going to walk everybody through these steps in more detail, just so that you can visualize it and feel like you have a good grasp of what this application consists of. So the first thing that you'll notice in our scholarship is that you're going to have to self-report your grades. So we are looking for your marks for the courses that you would be admissible on. You know, everybody's got the grade 12 calculus requirement, so let us know what mark that you've received. If you haven't, no stress, you can also put a not applicable option. And then there's a section at the bottom as well in this section, if you have additional marks to report on as well. So at the end of the day, we are going to verify all your marks through the Ontario University Application Center, but this is one of the pieces of the application. Shouldn't take you too long, but you'll have to complete it. So next is the section on your involvement and achievements. The piece to remember here is that this is actually going to take up quite a bit of time with the application process. And here there's multiple sections. We want to know about the awards you've received. We want to know about the amazing things you've done in the classroom, outside in the community, and also any work experiences that you have. But the best part is that you don't have to do too much work in terms of creating your own document on how to highlight all these experiences. You will notice that there's one document where you can mention and list all of these amazing accomplishments. And in this slide here, you'll notice an example of what this looks like. You'll be asked to indicate the year that you received that award, an example, what the name of the award is, and a little description of that award. Same goes with your extracurriculars as well as your work experiences too. So you're going to want to take some time on this piece to make sure you don't miss anything. And of course, once you're done, you'll have to upload the file and then you're good to go. So next, a really quick activity that you're going to be asked to do is to let us know, have you been involved in any of these organizations? Some of these logos might ring a bell to you. And the reason why we have this section is because we have dedicated scholarships for students that are involved in FIRST Robotics, that are involved in DECA, or have participated in SHAD Canada. From Schulich, Schulich is a Canadian award, and it is a huge one. It's $100,000 for Faculty of Engineering students, which is huge, but you would have to be nominated by your school. So if you are a nominee, you can check that off as well for us. The one thing I also want to add is we already kind of talked about the reference letters piece. If you are involved in any of these organizations, one of your reference letters will have to support your contributions to this organization. Perfect. Okay, so we checked off a couple of the basic pieces of the application. So the next section is about short answers. And the great thing is there's only 3 that you have to complete. The 3 that are posted here today are the ones that you're going to be actually answering. You'll notice that there's a word limit, and our advice to you is to be passionate. So take a quick second, we'll breathe during this presentation and look at the questions that we're asking you. You want to do some preparation in advance. You could work off maybe a Google Doc just so you can gather your ideas, and then go ahead and respond to these 3 short answer questions here. These are really important to the overall application review process, and hopefully these questions are exciting to respond to. And the great thing is with the word count is as you start typing, you'll notice that your word count updates as we go along. Perfect. And last but not least on this section of the scholarship are the reference letters. So when you've got to this point, you're pretty much done, because all you have to do is actually tell us who your reference is. So you'll type in their first name, their last name, and their email. And the great thing is that your referee, so the person who'll be writing your reference letter, will get notified via email on how to upload your reference letter to your application. So this is where you probably want to be proactive with the application, knowing that reference letters can't be written in a couple of hours. You want to give your referees some notice in advance. So reach out to them after today, let them know you're applying to the Faculty of Engineering scholarships, and And then all you will be required to do is just type in their contact information, and they'll have to do the hard part of uploading your letter. And that's it. That is the component to our Faculty of Engineering Scholarship. Again, you may be applying to other scholarships in addition, but those are the sections that you're gonna have to fill out if you want to be eligible for our scholarships. So, but of course, celebrate and remember that you can make any changes to your application up until the deadline date. So if you're here and you've already submitted your scholarship, fantastic. Feel free to go in and make any edits and updates up until the deadline date. And of course, always save the document as you go. Perfect. So the next portion of this presentation is talk about some perks. So what does it mean to be a scholarship winner? And in a couple minutes, we're going to be joined by some of our superstar scholarship winners to share about their experiences. So just quickly here, some of the perks. You're going to be part of an exclusive community of scholarship winners amongst your own cohort, but also across various levels and years. So you'll get to meet some of the upper year students who've been in your shoes as well. Financial support, that's the most obvious one, as we chatted about earlier. That can range from $2,500 to our lowest scholarship amount to $15,000, and to our Schulich winners, that would be $100,000. And you would be notified this via your McMaster email if you are successful as a scholarship winner. We're going to talk about the Research Experience Awards, which is super exciting, as well as many workshops and professional development opportunities as well. So one thing to note when we're moving on to the research conversation is that McMaster has been ranked for the past couple of years as the most research-intensive university, and McMaster Engineering specifically has so many opportunities for undergraduate students to get involved in research. So scholarship winner or not, you'll have the opportunity, if you'd like to consider research as a potential co-op placement. All right, so this Research Experience Award, did someone really tell you that you're going to be getting an additional $6,000 that's attached to this Engineering Research Experience Award? Absolutely. So all of our scholarship winners are going to be guaranteed a research position this summer after the first year. That's a $6,000 value award, and you'll be able to do research in one of our laboratories. It could be working alongside, the Forge or startup incubator, whatever that opportunity is, it's going to allow you to experience research at the university level. And the best part is that it counts as 4 months of co-op. So we'll get into more details with our panelists shortly. All right, so we've made it here. You've learned about some of the perks. You know how to apply now, which is super exciting. Let's kind of conclude this presentation with some tips. So the first one, and these tips refer to the application itself. So this is really important to remember. Our first is about that chart I was highlighting about the various awards, curriculars, work experiences that you're going to highlight. There are so many things that you've probably been involved in the past few years. Take a moment to reflect, make a list on the side on a piece of paper. What have you been involved in and what do those contributions look like? Highlight what year you've done them because it might be hard to remember at this point. So do that reflection to make sure you capture all of these experiences. Next on our tips and tricks list is about those short answer questions. If you all remember, there were 3 short answer questions that you'd have to complete. So do you have a big idea? Do you know what you're excited about from a McMaster Engineering perspective in terms of getting involved? What has your collaboration been to make an impact in the community? Those are the types of questions that you will notice in the short answers. We want to remind you that there is no perfect response. So many of our students think that we're looking for this answer or this keyword or this. That's not true. What we really want is your passion and your honesty when it comes to responding to these questions. Once again, there's no perfect answer. So tell us how you honestly feel, share your awesome ideas with us, and we can't wait to read those questions. Sorry, we can't wait to read those responses. And last but not least, again, this is referring to the application. As you all already know, and you're already messaging your teachers here, you are required to complete 2 reference letters. So similar to the last advice, be strategic and be careful with who you ask. Students sometimes think that we're looking for the reference, the principal of the school or this person with this job title. That's not the case. We're actually looking for reference letters where you are being highlighted in the best light. And what that means is somebody who can actually speak upon your amazing experiences and contributions. It doesn't matter what their job title is. It doesn't matter, to what capacity, what they're involved in. We just want people to talk about how awesome you are. Those are the reference letters that we're excited to read about as well. So hopefully that gives you some advice on the scholarship application piece and gives you the full picture on how to apply, and hopefully doesn't seem as scary as maybe you thought before coming to our session today.